We'll probably come back.
Oh
I
yeah,
know it's late, but like, you know,
they'll be. They're still up.
this is what
They're
it
still
is.
up.
Yeah. If you did you tag me in it too, like with the at something at
Uh,
exploring with Brad?
let
That
me
might help too. Get like people from both of the channels in. I'm not sure.
let me
I don't
see.
know. This is new. I've never done
There's
this before.
only so much I can do with this restream compared to YouTube because
Yeah.
it locks all the good features unless you pay for it.
Okay. Okay. I get that
So
too.
it's just like really basic. Like we got one person, really basic stuff. Darren, what's good?
There we go. We got a few people. We got Darren. We got Ashley. Yeah.
Ashleen, what's good? Yeah, we
I didn't even know where this came from before Cursed Crew, and then people were like, "Oh, this is Cursed Urban guy." I'm like, "Who's that?" And then I knew you because you added me, and then we just started talking. Like we had a lot in common. We're like, "Fuck, man, that's kind of cool. This is cool."
yeah we
Holy smokes!
we
There
finally
they
got it
are.
to work. We were late because Brad was getting chased by stalkers.
I was getting chased by stalkers, and that's why we're late, guys. I had to
Yeah,
fend for my life.
yeah,
No, just kidding. Oh yeah, so I've been busy. It's Christmas, that's why, right? So like we got to get all the baking done and everything because we're having like this dinner stuff. So yeah, it's been a while. Well, yeah, and then when you talked to me, you were like, "Oh, you want to live stream?" Because we were gonna talking about live streaming the other day, but then I was in the
Mhm.
music studio, so then I was with my band. I'm always gone. It's terrible. I gotta stay home more. So
Yeah, but we made it happen. We made it happen.
yeah, we made it happen, so that's cool.
We got 25 people in here. All right.
Yeah. Oh, it'll boom.
That's,
Give her time.
yep. What's up, Xavier?
I don't know if it's the software, but it's like giving my webcam more credit than it deserves because my webcam's a piece of garbage. It's like cleaning up the pixels. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Mhm. Well, here we go. We got more people. Well, Dan and Brad, love you guys, the best. Honestly, a lot of people are really excited about the collab between me and you because of the people that we've encountered and randomly
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my god, now what? Now that they're together, what kind of people are they going to find? It's the same thing with me and Angelo. They're like, whenever you guys are together, like the craziest people come after you, and it's like, yeah, it's because it's like they just know who we are, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of that, like a lot of things stem from even minor fame. Like that's what we are. We're very minor fame, but since like people know who we are, it's like it's drawn because
Hmm.
then you have people following you, and you're like, holy shite! Like I was doing an Uber once, and I wore this hat. Like I was wearing the hat with exploring with Brad, whatever. This lady literally, I should have filmed this. I should have actually put this on YouTube. It was the craziest thing. I literally thought like I was gonna die. She followed me everywhere. She cut me off. She pulled her car right in front of mine, and she wouldn't let me go anywhere. And I'm like, "What are you doing? Like this is crazy." I literally had to drive on the paved shoulder on the sidewalk and floor it and get past her. And then I ended up at what was it? RBC? Yeah, like what's that bank? Royal Canadian Bank? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah,
what
yeah, I ended up there and she cut me off too. So I actually called the cops. I'm in the lot. I called the cops. I'm like, this lady, she's following me. She's cutting me off. She's like weaving all over the place. And she had her window down. She's like screaming and stuff like that. So there's the people that like us, but then there's the people that know who you are and they actually hate you. And
you're.
that's really scary being like in the minor celebrity thing. And it's funny because like I had my phone with me, but I was like shaking. I find with me when I panic, I get all shaky and I just can't react. And it's funny because Angelo, he just films it. He's like, oh, whoa. He's like, I'm gonna use this, and it's like, dude, some of these people are actually so dangerous
Yeah.
that like just for you to, I mean, like that's cool. Get the content. But the fact that you just can like whip that thing out and it's like, man, like somebody could come and just murk you. Like I would never do it. But that was the scariest time for me. I think I was at 5,000 subs or something like that.
Oh
And I
wow.
was I was petrified. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
wild.
had anybody like with a car. like blocking you off and stuff. I've seen like you go to abandoned places and they block a driveway off or something like that. But
Mhm.
this was totally different. I was doing Uber Eats, right? So yeah, yeah. Look at this, and this is the craziest thing. So Tanya was saying two of my favorite random. A lot of people really want to see this collab. So I was like, we can make it happen.
We
Make it
will make
happen.
it happen. I mean, it's
We'll make it
it's in the
happen,
works.
man.
So
Hmm.
don't worry. We are
Oh, frig yeah.
we're gonna link soon.
Hmm. I've been wanting Braden to come. So like I just got one of my friends monetized. I've been wanting to get him back into it. It's just he's got a lot of family stuff and it's like, oh my god, I feel so bad. I was
Oh,
actually able
God.
to pull him out of the funk he was in just to come to the studio because he's my guitar player, right? So I was like, I don't know
Mhm.
how you feel. All this crap's going on. So I'm hoping that the three of us can film and then like search and see what we can find because I thought that would be really cool. It'd be like GTA 5. You got three main characters drifting off in different directions doing rando and
Yeah,
then all this crazy stuff happening in
yeah.
the midst of it, right? So
That'll be good. That'll be good.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be wild.
Look at yep, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's saying it. There's Bonnie Beautiful Chaos. Collab will be worth waiting for.
It's gonna
You're
be
damn right.
wild. This is this
Yeah.
is this is dude. This is gonna put all these other Randonautica videos to shame for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Well, and the fact that me and you have come across cults, it's funny. I talk about cults a lot because I don't really know much about them. So I kind of
Mhm.
I ask the subs and everything like that. I've had a few that have messaged me paragraphs about like cults and states that they live in and stuff in the US and I'm like, "Whoa, like I don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, I've read up on like, the Charles Manson seems to be the most famous one coming to Canada from the US. So we know of that, but
Right.
yeah. Mhm. But further than that, I don't really know much about them. Like I don't know. I know that they behave like gangs because I remember even with the wife there, we would watch Unsolved Mysteries
Hmm.
and they would talk about like cults. I've never heard of these cults, right? Like I don't know the names of them, but like they'd be like, yeah, once you join, you can't leave. Like they would kill you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
these
yeah.
people would
Like
just
it's like you're
pull
in
up.
for life. Like some of that. Who's that one dude? Drink the Kool Aid. It's like that dude.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah,
just don't. I can't think of his name, but I know what you mean. Yeah, he was like he had the whole. He had all these people. Like, it was like a mass suicide. It was crazy,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
I
Yeah,
think was that Heaven's. I think that was Heaven's Gate.
it could be. Yeah, yeah.
I think
Is that
so.
the name of that's so? That's the name of the cult.
I believe so. I want to say it's
Heaven's
like
Gate. Oh
Jim Jones
wow.
or something.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna never
Oh,
mind.
frig, yeah, yeah. Like, and it's funny too because there's places like you never know how exciting where you live is until you use Randonautica because it
Mhm.
took me to places that I did not know existed in my city.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do want us to go to Toronto. I think Toronto is probably the most dangerous. So if you're not from Canada, Toronto is extremely dangerous. Like there's gangs and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that's the only reason why I did it once. I used Randonautica once. It brought me to Graffiti Alley, which is actually a famous place down there. There's graffiti everywhere, and you
Okay.
walk down. It's like Silent Hill. It's kind of cool. And they have like just graffiti everywhere. There's like a Terminator hand holding like a phone, and they're all like cut off lines, right? But it looks cool. So we were there and it was really awesome. But aside from that, I was kind of like, I don't know. Like I could probably do rando during the day in Toronto, but I know you have to stay away from like Jane and Finch and there's just places there that are extremely dangerous.
I'll tell you what. We'll do Randonautica in Toronto at night, and then whenever you get to the states, we'll do
Let's pick the most
Randonautica
dangerous city and then we'll just crank the app
Chicago's
out.
Chicago South Side
Oh shoot.
in Old Block. We'll be dead.
Yeah, that would be cool. Uh, Toronto is basically the Chicago. Okay, yeah. Like is Chicago dangerous? I've never actually asked. Like, is your city? Is your
It
state like dangerous or?
South side is pretty bad. West
Mhm.
side's okay. I've personally never had any problems. Then again, I don't go looking for trouble, but it's I mean
Yeah, you
it's bad.
just use
It is.
it and wherever it brings you, you bring it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It is bad. Like as long as you drive and don't stop, you're good. But like some of those
Yeah.
places, no, it's rough.
And then somebody told me that Detroit has like the most abandoned places in this. I don't know because I know the states is huge. So it
Yeah,
was like, well,
Detroit. They used to have a ton of abandoned stuff, but they're really making an effort on knocking a lot of it down.
oh,
Detroit,
and they're kind of building it back up
mhm,
again.
they're actually on the come up now. Detroit was on the downswing for decades, but they're finally starting to turn around, starting to shape up in the beginning stages of a nice city. They have a long way to go, but yeah, they're knocking a ton of abandoned stuff down. Same with Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana is like an hour from where I'm at, and they had a
Mhm.
ton of abandoned. And same story with them. They're just knocking everything down.
I would like to do rando in Indiana. I've heard that I've heard people said don't do Indiana, Brad, in Texas, and I think I don't know. I don't know anything about the states. I just got my passport like recently, so yeah, I'm
Mm,
not sure.
you've never been down this way?
So I've been to just Buffalo, and that's as
Okay,
far as I came. Yeah, and I
okay.
like I think the only time I actually really visited the states like I was really young, and I think the kids didn't need a passport back. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were a little child, I don't think they needed it. So so I don't have any recollection of it. But as of recollection, my wife Betty, she took me to Buffalo, and we just went shopping. But we
Oh,
were I was kind of ticked. I was actually so mad. So we had everything booked. I'm not gonna say like, oh well, these people are terrible or anything, but they own an asylum. Yeah, Buffalo Rolling Hills Asylum. We had everything scheduled out and everything, and then she's like, oh, you can't film and whatever, and I'm like, we can't, but it says on your website that we can. I just had to call you, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm calling you to confirm. Like, are we allowed to film? She's like, absolutely not. No filming here and whatever. And she went into this big spiel, and I'm like, are you serious? Like we wasted like $200 and then the gas fare and everything to do it. So we basically, yeah, I lost a video and everything. I'm like, all right, well, we're not going to your asylum. We're just going to go to Buffalo. And so we did. We went to Buffalo and just drove around. That's all we could do, really. But yeah, we had like a big thing scheduled, the first US thing. And it's kind of stupid because I was like, well, now I'm turned off about going to the States now because that's the first thing I did. And then somebody was rude, but it is what it is.
yeah. That's because you went to New York first.
Yeah, yeah. Just picking some places. I was like, what?
Yeah, we'll get you out to Chicago. It's a good time out
Mhm.
here.
Oh, Xavier's asking about paranormal. Yeah, so I used to do paranormal. I actually recently quit because of like spiritual reasons, but not just that. It's because like a lot of that energy I was bringing home. So, but if you go
Mm.
old videos on the channel, you can find paranormal, especially with me and Angelo. We have done a few, so there's that left. Oh, we got a bunch of people coming in now. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. It's dope. Um, but yeah, no. Collab coming soon. Hopefully, not hopefully. Probably end of January, early February. We're shooting for. So
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
it's gonna be fun. Um,
Mhm.
and now's the time of the video or the time of the live where we're all gonna talk about the Randonautica channels we hate and mention them by name and start a bunch of drama.
Here we go. Let's just rip on it right now. Oh my god. I actually haven't seen too many. And it's funny, people ask me about other YouTubers all the time and it's like
Hmm.
I used to be a avid watcher of YouTube myself, but since I became a YouTuber,
Yeah,
I was kind
you
of like
don't. Yeah, you
I
don't
don't
want to watch it
watch
once you do it.
yeah, I don't watch channels or anything like that. I'll watch like funny videos on TikTok and things like that, but I don't. Yeah, I just haven't been involved in watching. I can say this, like my influences, like the first people I ever saw that got me into this at all, like photography was one, And it's funny because people be like, "Oh, well, how is that?" Because it's bland. He just films abandoned. Like that's all he does. He just
Yeah, I
films
know that.
abandoned and
Yeah.
architecture, and he doesn't really do ghost hunting. He doesn't do any of the crazy stuff that we've done. But like, yeah, he was one of the first I ever saw. I did see Mos RG, that's for sure. And
Mhm.
then but exploring with Josh was like that was the biggest one. I think I saw exploring with Josh, and that kind of made me want to be a YouTuber. So like, I
Yeah,
think that was probably one of the bigger influences of mine. I've
I've got
never met
to
the guy in person, so I
I
don't
I've
know.
got to meet him a few times.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, he's friends with like our group. So he came out to Chicago once for like 2 weeks, and we're all hanging out. Now I was
Mhm.
supposed to go on a big abandoned trip. My good buddy Max, he was able to go, but I had no money at the time, and we were supposed to go
Yeah.
with like
Oh, it's so
Josh.
expensive.
It
It's
is
so
actually.
expensive.
Give me 1 second. I need to go grab my charger for this laptop.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, bro. Hello, people. What's going on? We had a bunch of people coming here. Well, if it's not my two favorite people, Heather Voorhees. Yeah, yeah. I honestly, I was really, really excited about meeting Urban. It's cool. We have a lot in common, a lot of similarities between the two channels too, on how the content is come. Oh yeah, this is something about one of the cults here. So this is I don't know. So this is in Inksible one Curse Crew. Okay, so she says Heaven's Gate was one that committed suicide because they thought the comet Hale Bopp was going to pick them up and return them to their planet. Yeah, there's some weird cults out there. I've been finding a lot of these cults. There's like religion, astronomy, and then all that in between. It's really weird with cults. Like I when I started finding things to do with like what's it called zodiac stuff, I started thinking they were cults. Like, like is
Hmm.
this cult stuff? Finding zodiac symbols. What is all this? Yeah, this is wild.
Yeah, this has been relatively new. Like the cult has been. We've known of the cult for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
they just recently have been like picking up.
Does yours have a name? Did you find a name for what
Yes,
the group of people
uh,
are that you've come across?
the followers of Pythalon.
Oh, okay.
Don't know what it means, but
Yeah.
that's one of the notes I got. They're like the cult of I don't know how to pronounce it. Pyathlon, or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, do they have like an origin, or are you thinking like they're a new cult because you couldn't find anything on them?
it, I don't know if they're just new, if they're new or just obscure, because I can't
Yeah,
find
because there's
anything.
small cults that are kind of like
Mhm.
it's not that they're not, and I try to tell people that too when they Google things that we find. It's like it's not that these things don't exist. It's just the fact that like they're not popular, and
Yeah, there's just
it's not to say like I'm not gonna I'm not if the cults are watching, I'm not saying like you guys are like, oh, nobody knows who you are. We know who you are. But
yeah,
I'm just saying
it,
that usually they try to like, the most popular thing, it'll show up. The one that I came across, they're called the Children of Selene. And it's really, really funny because I literally thought it was just a bunch of rebellious teenagers that ran away from home and all this. And then I looked it up online, and they actually are real. They've existed for a long time. They, I think I'm pretty sure they worship a moon goddess. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
really.
like, yeah, they're really out there, really out there. They wear robes and stuff like that. Me and Angelo have come across them. It's funny though, because with me and Angelo, he's come across cult stuff too, and we have trouble distinguishing what cults people are from when we come across them because
Hmm.
it is tricky. Yeah, I know
Sure.
with his was kind of, yeah, they were kind of religious. They were called the Viserians. You can look them up too. They're from Russia, and they were a huge cult. Like they had thousands of members. It was almost like the Hell's Angels. So it was
Really.
really, really big. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh yeah. Like if you look them up, it's wild. The guy's still in jail. I can't remember his name. I think his name's like John Smith, or it's something Smith. I can't remember, but yeah, he was like he told everybody he was the Messiah. So it was like another Charles Manson copycat thing. Like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, one of those.
Yeah, Charles Manson really started a trend.
Yeah,
Oh man, so yeah, all that I know about the cult that's following me is so I don't know if I don't think I filled you in on this, but pretty much I have like three different groups. I have the cult, I have these two stalkers trying to like, I don't know, stop me, and then I have an unknown organization or
yeah.
person leaving me information about the cult. So I started finding like random like pictures and notes about this cult, and I was like, that's weird. And I of course put it all on YouTube. Come to find out, this whoever it is left me a note once, like saying like burn after reading. So I was kind of like, oh whoops, I just messed up by putting this all on
What did
YouTube.
they? Are they confusing you for Inspector Gadget or something?
I think so. But
You're
that's
like,
how the cult found out I had all this stuff. Is I think they
yeah.
found the videos, and that's yeah, because I didn't know, like, I don't know. So what it seems like is this person set it up to like drop information um to somebody like a random randonautica user. I don't know why or how, but yeah, I messed up by putting it all online. Whoops.
I love that little pause. I'm like, whoopsie.
Oops.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, now that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, like I could say like for the total, like some of the stuff doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Hmm.
Like I've come across so there was actually I'm going to talk about some of the strange stuff or so before I talk about the popular stuff. But I came across this name Jennifer like several times, and that was really, really weird. And it kind of like went nowhere. I'd find like bits and pieces and things like that.
Hmm.
And then it's really funny. So I started finding like notes and like this is the craziest thing I've ever found though. A craziest crap that goes with the Starseed Children of Selene stuff. I found this like it looked like a body on the beach. Like
Hmm.
but it wasn't. Me and my friend Chris, we go up, and it was like their clothing, everything was there. But then there was like cremation ashes, like just laying beside. I'm like, did this person disintegrate? Like, what just happened? And we were freaking. We were absolutely freaking. It's like we gotta leave. And when we went there too, there's like no trespassing signs. There was everything. Like they were like, you can't pass this gate. And so, like, like
Huh.
as dumb kids, we were like, well, I'm gonna pass that gate because I want to find out what's over there. And
Right.
we found this tape recorder, and there's no tape, no nothing. It was one of those old school 1960s like microset player that the FBI used to do like interrogations with. And then all of a sudden, I keep finding tapes. Like every maybe not every video, but like every couple videos or whatever, and there were like voice transmissions from people. And it's funny because the audience they all thought like I think this is a movie being filmed in Toronto. Toronto is popular for that too. So a lot of the movies we see, like even Resident Evil
Hmm.
3, the film, that was actually a lot of that was in Toronto. But anyways, going back to what I'm saying is that like they thought that they were not transmissions, but actual like kind of voiceovers of like actors practicing. But then when me and Angelo started finding like ourselves in physical danger, we were kind of like, I don't know though. Like, what if it is? What if it isn't? You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
people's facial expressions, the way people speak, uh, everything's different. Like sometimes when I speak, I might sound like I'm acting, but this is the real me. Like when I get
Hmm.
scared, I get really, really jittery and I clam up. And this is actually this. The audience hates this, but like I'll accidentally turn my camera off or drop it and stuff like you act differently when you're actually, afraid or in fear,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, that was the one thing. So, Children of Selene was one. The most notorious one right now is this whole Mr. Marvel's thing, and it scares the living crap out of me because I've never dealt with like serial killer stuff and finding all this stuff now, and I'm like, did these guys do it? Like, did it actually hurt people or whatever? Because I mean, there's a lot of unsolved murders, right? But apparently, long story short, these two brothers they killed mom and dad because they were abused physically and mentally, and then
Hmm.
they hightailed it. They literally went to Las Vegas, and partied it up, lived it up, and then they flew over to Paris. So it's like, holy crap! So these people actually did a Godfather thing. Like they just took off, so no cops could find them. And then I'm
Yeah.
guessing that they came back. That's the only thing that we can think is that they actually came back from Paris, and now they're hiding out. They're literally hiding out, but we haven't found anything on them. Like I can't find any names about them. There is no known copycat Zodiac in Canada. So it's almost like, is this a killer in the making? Like maybe they did these couple murders and then took off and just haven't done anything since then. But
Yeah.
they think that yeah, it's wild, man. It actually gives me goosebumps being like when we do find something to do with them. One thing that's been happening to me continuously though is I keep finding marbles. Like I'll go out, like I'll even wake up in the morning. It's like 5 a.m. and I hear a sound. I go outside of my driveway and there's a little bag of marbles. Like and I'm like, I don't know what this is about, man. I don't know who's messing
That's
with me. This is
wild.
crazy. This is just
That's
this is too much.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
Mhm.
Man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty well all I found. I can't really think of. I mean, the audience would know if I found other stuff. But yeah, before then, we were engaging in paranormal. I had to give it up. I was literally taking stuff home with me, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's not good. Not good if you're Christian either. So it's like, I just had to give it up.
Mhm. No, yeah, it's completely understandable for sure.
hmm
100%. Um, it's not worth it at a point. It's not worth it at all.
It's not worth it when you're well, and that's the thing. Like people say, like, oh, like you're not in physical danger. Yeah, but then there's the mental part that can become physical. You know what I mean? Like I've actually done this stuff and then I got so mentally riled up that I got sick, right? Because of just having to deal with it. Because some of it was deep. Like we would come across things and these a lot of these apps I've told people I'm like I don't know how they work but they do because just it was pumping out full sentences and it had to do with things that like it shouldn't know. So even
Hmm.
if it was like a built AI, I was like there's no way you would know all these because there's facts that aren't listed on like Wikipedia or Google. So it's like there's no like how the hell would an AI know it if it was an AI, right? So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was really that's what really scared me when I was with Angelo doing paranormal because you always have like that hint of skepticism when you do paranormal, but then you have to have that open mind space for it actually to engage with you too, right? So
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll still do paranormal, but
Yeah,
I,
just you just all I can say is do it, but then take a break. Like don't be solid paranormal because that's
yeah.
when things start happening. Yeah.
Hmm.
You start dealing with demons and it's no good.
Yeah. Once you let it in, it's
hmm
you're not getting it out easy, anyways.
Oh yeah. What I want to do is I kind of want to fan out and find like different townships and then set the app and just see like where's this gonna take me now because like I've literally plowed through places in Barrie and it's almost like I don't know if it's gonna lead me to anything new or anymore because like I've
Hmm.
done so much here and I honestly didn't know that our city was that big. Like I was like, wow, there's like so many parks, there's so many places. I'm wondering what the next township has and the next one. So the closest one to me is I think it's called Aurelia. So there's
Okay.
Aurelia and then a place called Oro and they have dozens and dozens and dozens of forests and places like that too. So it's like, freak, when you come up, we'll probably like set it and just see like what happens, like where it'll take us.
Oh yeah, I'm down. And then I
Mhm.
mean, maybe we could get something together like later on, maybe in the summer or something. We could take a little trip across Canada,
Yeah, like check out
hit some
places. Yeah.
spots.
hmm Yeah, I mean there are cool provinces. I really like my favorite provinces. I like these are just the ones that I've been to though. Like I haven't been all over Canada, but the ones that I have
Yeah.
been to I really like. So Alberta was one that was really cool.
Okay.
Quebec is amazing though. You would like Quebec and Quebec City because it's like an old cobblestone city, and they have like a bunch of like abandoned places that have been
Yeah.
bought, so you can go. You know what I mean? If you want to film and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I'm always down for just exploration as well. Like I've told people that like I think with me the direction that I want to go in since I did drop paranormal is like okay, like I still want to do exploration. So if we have these abandoned places that have been bought and like, oh yeah, you can film, then I'm like, oh, I'm down for that because I love history and I love finding stuff like that. I think I'll always do dark history,
Hmm.
short documentaries. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing I'll still do.
Yeah.
I'll still talk about like their ghosts or their past and things like that. So
What's one of the best abandoned places you've been to?
best abandoned places I've been to. So is this like abandoned or abandoned like owned? Like does it matter?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so the best place I've ever done, this video is on my channel too, is Gross Isle, and it's an island. So imagine like, you ever heard of Plum Island? Like the
Hmm.
island in Hannibal Lecter, like where they did test subjects on people and
Yeah.
things like that. So with Gross Isle, which is crazy about this, because like I actually have ancestors buried there with my Irish background, and Gross Isle what happened was if you were an immigrant coming over to Canada to move to visit anything, they wanted to make sure that you were sterile, like you did not have any infectious contagious diseases. Like we have COVID-19 right now. These diseases
Hmm.
though would kill you. Like you had TB, tuberculosis, you had anthrax, cholera, what was it? There was a skin one too, smallpox, all the worst diseases were dealt there and literally thousands of people died and a lot of them were my ancestors like from Ireland and like other places as well, right? So
Hmm.
this place was it was beautiful. They did have some of the buildings were already torn down, which was sad, but they had hospitals, churches, buildings, morgues, like they had everything. You could explore all of it. So me and my wife went. It was really really awesome. It was a beautiful trip. We had to take. I got to film all of it too. It's funny. I started out. I didn't have the cameras I have now. I had this little GoPro and a Karma grip, and we're heading over on this boat, and we're just hitting place after place after place. I literally had probably 2 hours worth of footage, so that was the best place I've ever done.
That's
Best place
cool.
by far. Yeah,
I,
everything was intact. Everything intact. Like it was insane. You'd go to the hospital, and there were nurses and doctors, like people dressed up and they had like the lights and all the hospital equipment and I'm like yo, this is cool. And the fact that they're fine with me filming them, like this is just so sweet. Yeah, it was cool.
I'd say the best one I've done. It wasn't. I mean, the spot was cool, but getting there was interesting. It was this abandoned dredge. Um,
Mhm.
uh,
What is that anyways? What's a dredge?
a dredge like makes new canals for the river, I believe. So
Okay,
you
okay.
like take it and it'll like dig out like like just mud and stuff to make new like areas for the river. So it's
Sweet.
this huge abandoned dredge, and it was beached. Like they pulled it up and set it like right off the river. But the thing was, it was in the middle of the neighborhood of a neighborhood,
Oh
and we
wow.
weren't supposed to be there. So, like
The
on this
usual.
dredge, like you don't realize how tall these boats are out of the water. Like it was at least like 10 feet up. So we
Oh
have this
wow.
collapsible ladder. We take it and we're like sprinting across this field, like in between all these houses with this ladder. We have to like pull the ladder up, put it up to the dredge. We all get on safely and unseen. But it was cool. Nothing was touched. We got to go up in like the up in the bridge. All the old brass, all the old brass instruments were there still, like the sextant and everything. It was awesome.
What's wild too is people don't see like our backgrounds. Like we love architecture. Like people that
Mm,
like we like buildings and histories. Like it's not just the artifacts. Like the artifacts is like that's juicy stuff, but the buildings and the surround. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that
Oh
just seems
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
a thing for people that share the same hobby, right? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Oh, Ashleen was asking me a question. She's like, Brad, do you mainly? Yeah, so I just do Randonautica, which is funny because a lot of people think that I'm gonna quit. Like, because like if you watch some of our content, it's pretty intense. Well, I mean, I've seen yours too, and I think that's why people want the two of us to get together is because of how crazy both of our videos are. Like, just goes above and beyond, like danger and stuff. Yeah, I just do rando. I don't know why. It's I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I guess that's why I get a kick out of it. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's fun in a certain way.
yeah,
It's
fun
fun
in
in a
it.
certain way.
I'm like Simba, like I laugh in the face of danger. So I guess we're like Simba, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I
Hannah
guess
Montana.
so. But yeah, no, it's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we find though.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
I-
I've got a bunch of places I can take us and stuff like, and that's the thing. Like I don't mind randonauting in haunted places. It's just the engagement because like
Hmm.
I think one thing that was a big turnoff with me was where I'm with investigators and I never used this footage. I literally would scrap it because like I just don't like when people are like I'm gonna engage with this demon. I'm like I'm out. I'm out, man. Like, once you start saying that I'm gonna call demons or like Ouija boards and all that kind of crap, I'm out. I just don't deal with it. I've seen so much crazy stuff, and like I've even seen it like affect people, like
Hmm.
physically make them sick, and they were just getting worse. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I can't go back to work. I can't do. It's because you're doing what you do, man. It's energy. It's even if it's not haunting you or coming home with you, it's that energy is attached to itself to you, like, so that's what people don't understand. It's just another thing.
Yeah,
So like that was
absolutely.
another thing that kind of like kind of pushed back from that. So but yeah, like I have come across some people have told me though, like, oh yo Brad, like even though you don't do this anymore, like they've said like I'm hearing things in your video, and I get, you get timestamps from subs, so they give
Mhm.
us, yeah, they give us timestamps and like, yeah, we actually hear like voices and things like that in the woods. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I'd click the timestamp and I'd be like, holy smokes! Like I'm hearing mumbling and it like almost sounds like a girl and a guy talk, and there's nobody there. Like it's just me in the middle of the wilderness. So we have come across some weird stuff doing rando that I guess yeah you could consider paranormal. I almost want to bring an EMF just when I'm doing it, just to see, like, when I do hear this crap, that I'm like, is this it? Is it
Yeah, like, is
over
there
here? Just,
something?
yeah, I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? Just to see, like, am I in danger?
Yeah, like, give me a heads up if I'm in danger. Check for the
Yeah.
spikes,
Oh yeah.
man. Um, so if you weren't gonna do Randonautica, let's say Randonautica is dead, we can't
Yeah.
do it anymore. What would you do? What would be the next thing that you do?
I'd probably do travel vlogs.
That's what I like to get into.
Yeah, and like I've honestly, that was actually my kind of dream job, was to be a travel vlogger. So
Hmm.
before me and Betty ever like had a baby and all this other stuff, we used to talk about traveling, and I'd be like, that'd be so awesome because like she was like, I would love to just drive state to state to state. Like she would talk about it. I'd like to go all over the U.S., all over Canada, like just see every place. So and I started thinking myself, I'm like, well, how amazing would it be like if we could do that? Because like I'd be working, and then
Hmm.
we'd have the money to do that, but also come home and take care of ourselves as well. So like I always thought like that would be my dream job, is being a travel vlogger and talking. And well, that's the thing. Like I'm very social, so like there'd be humor, there'd be beautiful scenery and things like that, and history. Like I honestly think I'm more of a history junkie than I am a randonautica guy. You know what I mean? I know that this is my job, but on the other hand, like I live for history and
Hmm.
science and archaeology. I think those three things are like that's my thing. That's my favorite thing. Well, and video games and music.
Video games,
I
naturally.
like those two. Yeah. I was telling Kirst here too. Like I do music. I'm in a band. I don't know. Do you do music or anything like that on the side or like side
I was
stuff?
in a band a long time ago.
Yeah.
We weren't serious at all. It was just kind of
Mhm.
like just basement shows. But I was the vocalist for a death metal band.
Oh well, that's sick, man.
Yeah, it was
That's
fun.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I wasn't. I mean, I had other projects before, but I wasn't happy.
sure.
I wasn't happy with my voice at the time and stuff. Like I am now. I'm in my 30s. I got this mid voice, but like I used to have this high pitched because I was like, oh, like I was like, why the fudge have I not like grown out of this yet? You know what I mean? Like it was almost like that, like puberty not happened. Like what the hell? Like I had this high voice, and then later on I started getting older, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm kind of getting in the mood with this,
Yeah,
and
it kind of evens out.
yeah, and the
Yeah,
biggest thing is just be yourself. Like, don't try to sound like other people. And then that was the big thing that my guitarist would say, and we would just sit and jam and just be ourselves, and it just came out, and we started liking it. But yeah, we're no, honestly, we're not much of what you guys were like. We honestly are a startup band, even though we have a good producer, we have a
yeah.
good
You,
recordings. We are a
you guys
startup
are
band. Like we've never
you
played a
guys are
show.
really polished for a startup band. Like when I heard your stuff
That's
on.
what I wanted. Yeah, like I honestly wanted. I'm like, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right. Let's make the
Hmm.
product, to make the album like professional, right? And then do the next steps, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
mhm.
good because then, yeah, if you start out like that, you're just going to grow even better. Like I
Yeah,
think a lot of like misconception is like even my one buddy who's in a band, they start out like just some producer just recording in an empty, unfinished basement, and it's like
mhm.
that. Like you can hear it, like you don't like. There's not that quality there. You're not
Yeah,
going to be taken seriously if you sound like shit. Like
yeah, exactly.
so.
You know what though? We all start out that way. I honestly, man, I honestly just think I got lucky. Like
Hmm.
Brett's been a good friend of mine, like an online friend. Like now we're buddies now that we've personally met and things like that. But he was more of like an online friend, and I was just obsessed with his band. So, and what's really cool is like I'm pretty sure his studio actually had Billy Talent there. Like they actually recorded some stuff with them, which was pretty awesome. He's also the bass player in the Birthday Massacre. So if y'all know the Birthday Massacre, the bass player, that's my boy Brett. So he's co-writing for us and producing us and stuff. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. We're kind of experimental sci-fi alternative rock with a bit of emo on there. So
Hmm.
it's really cool. I just picked like my favorite stuff and kind of clammed it. And I'm a huge. It's so funny. People talk to me about this all the time. I love. There's a few bands that I love and I listen to all the time. That's where our music kind of comes into play. And I'm a huge My Chemical Romance fan. Stabbing Westward. I used to actually really be into 3 Days Grace too. So like all that kind of bunched up together. That's kind of what made us.
That's cool. You listen. So you listen to like any like heavy metal or.
Oh yeah, I listen to a lot of metal as well. We've been actually trying to make metal music. It's just like
Mhm.
okay, like where does it fit in to parental pathology and like how do we use it? Um, Metal bands. I'm trying to think. Like fudge. Well, I'm so old school, man. I'm so old school. Like Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper kind of
Okay.
metal. But like, oh, I like glam metal though. Glam metal was actually huge. Look up Shotgun Messiah. They were actually a huge influence to me because it was like punk rock, metal, and then you had the hard rock, like Guns N' Roses kind of thing, all in one, and they were amazing. Like if you look up Shotgun Messiah, well, you can find them on YouTube too. But
Hmm.
their guitar player was absolutely crazy. The guy could just shred. And it's funny, their lead vocalist was actually in Marilyn Manson. His name was Tim Skold. So that was actually Tim Skold's band. That was his band because
Oh,
the
that's
old singer
interesting.
had left and they needed a singer. So I think he went from being their bass player to their vocalist. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
here we go. We got
Hmm.
Restream. I've received 100 messages today from Restream chat.
Oh boy,
There you go.
exciting.
Everybody knows what's up.
Oh man, I think Brad and I are about to wrap it up. So how about a couple questions from you guys?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know we've been kind of doing our own thing, just conversing, but lay some questions down. We'll answer them, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll probably wrap it up in a few minutes.
Sweet. Yeah, we got a lot of people talking about doing
Yeah, it was a good crowd
paranormal.
tonight. It was a good crowd.
Yeah, no, it is good. I can't see the actual number. You probably know how many people are on it. There's a
41
lot of
people
people
in
coming
here.
on. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty decent.
There's people talking about UFOs here. Yeah, I'm just looking for the questions. Yeah, so if you guys have questions for us,
Yeah, now's the
definitely
time.
shoot that up. Yeah. Oh, here we go. There's somebody that knew who the cult leader was we were talking about. Jim Jones
Yes, Jim Jones.
was
Yep.
that one we were.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the one we were talking about. Yeah.
Brad, we love you, and Dan, will you please collab? No, we're not collabing.
That's it. Since you
No,
want us to do it, no, it's over.
no, it's I just
Pack the
can't.
bags, Uramoto. We have to leave. It's really funny too, because like I have a wild sense of humor, but I don't know what it is when I'm with Angelo.
Mhm.
Like I'm just so tense because he's like so serious. You ready to go? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm like, we're gonna go this way. You're gonna go that way. You're gonna do rando. Well, boy, and I'm like, I can't get into a happy, bubbly comedy mood. But I know that me and you, because just the chemistry I'm feeling just from this, I know that we'll have a little bit of humor.
If we
Well,
can get the guy I that used to do well he's a core member of Cursed Urban Max. He doesn't do Randonautica anymore, but if I can get him out with us to do Randonautica, we will get nothing done.
oh yeah,
Because
just
you, him, and I will just mess around the entire time.
it's so funny.
So, um,
Oh man,
but let's see. Dan, do you have a PO box where you can receive fan mail? I'm going to set that up this week. A lot of people have been asking me about it.
I don't have one of
Sorry,
those either. Yeah,
you don't have one either.
no, that's a good
We got to get
question.
on it. We got to get on it.
Hmm. It's
Uh,
funny too, because like all the YouTubers have merch. I have none. So everybody's always asking me, like, Dan might help me with my merch, which is pretty
yeah, for
cool.
sure.
I might have a few sets of merch. So I'll have the stuff that Dan helps me with. And then my boy Stu, he's gonna help draw some stuff too. So we might have a lot of stuff. We gotta, we gotta do that. We gotta have like a merch blowout after me and your adventure, just like some crazy stuff like this. We're putting out our merch from this crazy, crazy, crazy Canadian rando Espigade, So
Yeah, I'm gonna put a shirt out that says Randonautica, eh?
with some maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, maple syrup will be the whole thing. That's so funny. You know
Let's.
what I'd love to see? This would be hilarious. Imagine so you have your smartwatch.
Mhm.
Only app is Randonautica. So that's your channel. Your channel. So you have the rando up like, oh, let's see where we're going today. Like, oh, says to turn right. So you got the Randonautica right on your smartwatch. You don't have to, it's right there with you.
You don't have
You
to
don't have to
think
pull
about
out your cell phone and have your O light. You're like
it. Yeah,
kind of juggling things around. You got the smartwatch.
yeah. Oh, all right. What do we got? What do we got?
Yeah. I'm still looking for questions too.
Brad, what happened with the safe you found in the trailer park?
So we haven't actually been able to open it yet. And I know people are like, "Well, man, just get a sledgehammer or whatever." Well, I probably should. I probably should just find someone that has a sludge and just.
Shoot it open.
I've actually been worried about damaging what's inside of it though, because me and Chris don't really know. Because Chris said, "I think there's something breakable in here," so I'm like, "Oh, okay." But the fact is, like, so yeah, this is really funny, Dan. All these people are saying like, oh, you stole that and blah blah blah. Well, I didn't technically steal it if it belonged to a possible serial murderer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I
Because
mean,
when the guys busted into this trailer, they were like, "Where's the safe? Where's the safe?" And it's funny too, because we even had a sub. They said they're like, "Yo, when those guys chased you down the street and came at you, they were like, 'Give us back the effing safe.'" I didn't even catch that. I didn't even know that we caught that on film, so it was like wow. But yeah, we didn't crack that open yet. We are gonna do it though. We're gonna do an unbox of that safe on a video, so
That'll
we
be
stay
sick.
tuned for that. Yeah, stay tuned for that.
That'll be sick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight, but this was fun. I
Mm-hmm.
think we can say that Brad and I will be doing some live streams in the future together.
Oh heck yeah!
Um, so keep an eye out for those. But
Good
all right.
crowd tonight too. Oh wow,
Yeah, great crowd
love
tonight.
you guys. This is awesome, and I'm glad. I'm really happy with all the support too, because like that's a big thing. We get a lot of love, but we get a lot of hate too. So like to have people saying like, "Oh, you guys are my favorites. I watch you
Mm-hmm.
guys all the time," and stuff like that's what keeps us going.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so. Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We'll do another live stream together soon.
Yeah, for sure, buddy.
And yeah, I guess that should do it. But all right, guys, you have a good night. And if I don't see you before then, Merry Christmas. And
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys.